You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute. I'm Kimberly Brummel, here along with Ethan Euchre, our executive radio program producer, and world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati. Say hello to everyone.
Hello to everyone.
How you doing, Doc?
Well, on the line, we have Dr. James Pinkney. He's a medical expert of Diamond Physicians, and he's on to talk about youth sports injuries and what we can do to try to plan ahead so that we can curb those in the future. So welcome to this show, Dr. James.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, school's back in session.
Yes.
I know. Doc, did you play any sports when you were in high school growing up?
I did. I was a basketball player. Point guard, shooting guard, and I actually suffered a devastating knee injury when I was in school, so I can relate to youth sports injuries.
I bet.
Yeah, this survey came out, or a new study. It shows that 1 in 4 young athletes believe it's normal to commit hard fouls and play rough to, quote, send a message during a game. I'm actually surprised at how low that is. You know,
I thought it was high.
Really? You thought,
as a mom, you know.
Exactly. You're a mom.
I'm a girl.
You're also not, a man playing sports. But
correct.
I mean, I remember you would play hurt all the time just because, you know, you didn't want to get benched. If you were a starter, you figure if you get hurt, you're going to lose your starting position to somebody else. And is that pretty common, Dr. James, of kids playing hurt?
No, yeah, that's exactly right. You know, our culture plays a large role in the rise of sports injuries. We're a win-first culture and a win at all costs.
Right.
So a lot of our adolescents are going to do what they can to win. They don't want to be benched. They don't want to let their teammates down, and they put their bodies not on the forefront, but on the back burner when it comes to playing hurt.
Right.
Yeah, and it also says here 54% say they have played injured. 70% of those kids say that they told a coach or parent that they were hurt. Top reasons given for playing injured, kind of as I mentioned, they said that it wasn't that bad. They couldn't let the team down, or they didn't want to be benched. And like I said, I mean, I watch a lot of mixed martial arts and things like that, and they always say the old adage is you're never 100%. That's just the nature of the beast, right, Dr. James?
You know, that's very true, and from my own personal experience, when I was a teenager, the exact same thing happened to me. You know, I had knee pain and overuse injuries, patellar tendonitis, and I was taking Advil way too frequently and playing through the pain, and it actually resulted in a career-ending knee fracture. That's something that's called a tibial plateau avulsion fracture. So I required major surgery. I still have 2 screws in my knee today, and it was because I wanted to play. I was a captain, and my team needed me to win. So, you know, we have to change this culture, and we have to set up meetings before the season starts. And it's going to take coaches, parents, and these athletes coming together and setting ground rules so that we can prevent injuries during the season.
You know, I found this statistic. 53% of coaches say they felt pressure from a parent and or a player to put the athlete back in the game once the child was injured. Why would we do something like that?
Again, it's a win-first culture, and parents, the athletes, they all want to play, and they want to win. And unfortunately, it's not, you know, whether you win or lose, but it's how you play the game.
Correct.
And if our kids continue to play hurt and become injured, you can have long-term consequences.
Now, as a physician, Dr. James, what are some things that we can do short of keeping our kids out of sports, which, in my opinion, shouldn't even be an option? I think kids should play sports.
Yes.
In fact, I had a cousin growing up who, you know, me and my brothers, we were into every sport. I mean, baseball, football, ran track, was on the wrestling team, just everything.
Tennis?
And then no tennis, no. I was going to say something really rude, but I won't. Tennis is a fine sport. Let's just say that. But
Tennis is, it's like chess.
Yeah.
You strategically place the ball, and the
guess.
people have to run around the court strategically.
It's not the manliest sport, I guess, is what I'm getting at. It's okay for
Well,
women.
you know, I love tennis, but
Thank
I am
you,
from
thank
Texas, so let's take football for an example. We really, in order for us to prevent injuries, it has to start on the practice field, and we have to teach proper technique. One thing that I've noticed is we've lost tackling form. These kids are leading with their head. They're not looking at their target, and it's causing a lot of neck injuries and concussions. So we have to practice proper technique. Strength training is extremely important, especially if a child hasn't been playing a lot of sports over the summer, when you come back, you have to ease into your strength training program. Warm-up exercises, stretching, those things are critical to prevent injuries.
What didn't they used to talk about, like kids overheating and being exposed to the elements, and it was a little too much for their bodies to handle?
There were some kids that actually one died at football practice because a lot of you do two-a-days, especially in the summer when you're gearing up for the season. You're doing 2 practices, which really was not fun. But yeah, how much of a threat is overheating, Dr. James?
Heat exhaustion and heat stroke are major problems, especially with the two-a-days. We've actually had an increase in our baseline temperature of 2 degrees over the last 50 years, so it's hotter outside. We have more humidity, heat waves as well. When you combine heat and humidity, you're going to have a lot of sweat, you're going to lose a lot of electrolytes, and you're going to be at higher risk for heat stroke and heat exhaustion. So the most important thing with those 2 elements is to actually have a cold tub immersion bath on the field. And I think Georgia instituted a law, and every football practice field in Georgia has to have a cold tub immersion, so that if a kid gets overheated, they can lower that core temperature immediately, put them in the cold bath, and lower that core temperature so that they don't have a heat stroke.
Yeah, you know all about humidity. You're in Dallas, right, Dr. James?
Yeah, Dallas is actually a little bit drier. Houston, which I went to med school in Houston, is extremely humid.
Yes.
And the common misconception is that it has to be hot outside for someone to have a heat stroke or suffer from heat exhaustion. That's not true. We've actually had a kid die in 74-degree weather.
Oh, wow.
So it's extremely important to hydrate during practice, not practice during the hottest part of the day, and make sure you have some type of ice-cold immersion bath readily available in case somebody does overheat.
I actually want to back up for a quick second, Dr. James. You mentioned concussions. What are your thoughts on that? Because I know, the NFL Players Union, they sort of tried to organize. They had a lawsuit. Dan Marino was involved. I think he dropped out. I'm not really completely up to speed on where that is at. But what are your thoughts on concussions and sort of how it affects your brain as you age? Do you think there's a link between dementia and concussions when you're a kid playing sports?
Yeah, the studies have shown that multiple concussions do lead to brain damage, damage of neurons down the line. So I think our country as a whole is doing a great job with concussion awareness. Most schools have programs where they're testing our kids at baseline. They're doing a series of neurological tests, and if they have a head injury during a game, then we have a baseline. They do the same neurological test, and if there's any deviation from that baseline, these kids have to sit. They cannot go back in the game, and that is critical. When you have a concussion, your brain is more susceptible to swelling and even further damage if you have a subsequent concussion. So you have to give that brain time to heal, time for the swelling to go down, so that you don't have long-term effects, which include dementia.
Wow. It's just amazing to me. With that being said, going back to what I said before about parents or coaches throwing these kids back in once they know the child is injured.
Usually the kid, though, from a former player's perspective, you don't even tell the coach. You know what I mean? You hobble off the field.
But how dangerous.
It's totally dangerous, but you're a kid, and you just want to play. And you know, especially if you have your father in the audience watching, you don't want to disappoint him. It's a whole lot of that.
Yeah, but you still want to be around.
The onus comes back on the coaches. It really, the coach, they have all the power. They have to know when a player isn't telling them the truth, when a player is truly hurt or truly injured and should not go back in the game. They have to take responsibility and put the player's best interest first and not winning.
Agreed. Almost out of time here, Dr. James, and I know we're going to try to get you on another time for this topic. I know you're going to like this, Dr. Bonati. Dr. James with Diamond Physicians, he was actually one of the first people in the country with this concierge medicine practice. He moved to a flat monthly membership fee because of hospital gouging. You find that interesting, Doc?
Very, very much.
We'll have you on in a future show to go ahead and expand upon that. But
fantastic! It's a hot topic, and direct medicine and Diamond Physicians are the future of healthcare. So I would love to talk more about concierge and where the medical field is heading.
Okay, great.
Beautiful. Well, we appreciate you joining us, Dr. James Pinkney. Am I saying that right, Pinkney?
Oh, that's perfect. Like
All
the color
right.
pink and an E, Dr. James Pinkney. Everyone calls me Dr. James.
All right, diamondphysicians.com for more details. Of course, he's based out of Dallas, Texas. Appreciate you joining us. And like we said, we'll definitely have you on again and talk about concierge medicine.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you
Dr.
guys so much
James.
for having me on.
Yep.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
You too.
Have
Bye.
a good one. He was also, that was the topic that we touched upon
Yes.
on the television show.
Yes, it was.
Which we're pleased to announce is now, it's been picked up by the Fox Business Network.
Yes, we are on every Sunday from 5:30 until 6 p.m. And then we're still on locally here on ABC WFTS 28.
It'll be on tonight, right?
Yes, it'll be on at 7:30 p.m.
7:30?
7:30 to 8. That's going to be the new time, 7:30 to 8, because there's games on the station. So we're going to be directly, I think,
Speaking of
following the
sports.
news. And yeah,
No tennis, though, I hope, right?
I like tennis. What is with you in tennis?
Doc, it was really funny. We were talking about athletes yesterday at the office, and the only name we were talking about golfers actually, and Kimberly starts naming tennis players, and I'm like, we're not even talking
Only
about
the only
tennis. We're
tennis
talking
players.
about the only athletes she knew were tennis players. What's up with
no,
that?
no. I knew Tiger and I knew Nicholas. And
that's about it.
that's
that's it.
pretty much where it ended. I'm sorry. I don't mind playing golf, but actually watching. Sorry.
It is a bit of
Yeah,
a snooze
it
fest.
is,
Well, if people want to get in touch with the Bonati Spine Institute, Kimberly, how do they do so?
They can reach out at 855-267-0483 or visit Bonati.com. Coming up after the break, we are going to hear what's new in American medicine today. You're listening on News Radio 970 WFLA. We'll catch you on the flip side of the break. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine Procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine Procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years, and it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results, no pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.